Hello everyone, this is part 27 of What If Naruto Was the Child of the Moon in Percy Jackson, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Welcome to this game's halftime show. Today's showcase will be a 3-point shootout from none other than the audience. Who will be our lucky contestants? No one would think that there was anyone different sitting in the stands of Madison Square Garden, but unbeknownst to them, there are a couple of demigods watching the game. Though, there were some wild viewers in wheelchairs. I don't know how they can have so much energy, but yeah. What did you say? Are demigods even real? Of course, they are. As I said earlier, modern demigods are just like your everyday humans. They blend in with the crowd unnoticed, but if you really look into it, you will notice their key characteristics. These kids are often labeled as troublemakers in school. They often have ADHD and dyslexia, while others just have mild traits like lactose intolerance. Why haven't you noticed? Well, as I said, they're just like your normal everyday guys and gals. They want a normal life just as much as you do, but they often don't get the luxury. Sometimes monsters find them and cause chaos wherever they are. Yes, they're real too, and the reason you can't see them is because of your poor mortal eyes. Anyway, when the monsters wreak havoc, the damage is often blamed on them, hence being labeled troublemakers. Some get lucky and get found by satyrs deployed in various schools, while the unlucky get eaten. That's the life of a demigod, just like the two kids I mentioned earlier. Enough of the introduction. We now do what we came here to do, tell their story. We begin the story as the two were watching a game of NBA basketball. These two were Naruto and Annabeth. Naruto is a golden blonde-haired boy and blue eyes. He also had trademark whisker marks on his cheeks. I know I said demigods blending in, but he might be the exception. He loves wearing orange like he was announcing his presence. So much for being a ninja. Oh, did I forget to mention, he's not exactly from here. To much of everyone's surprise, he is the only son of Artemis. No, the virgin goddess didn't break her oath. Long story short, Naruto has the godly essence of the goddess inside of him due to a misunderstanding when he was still in the womb, and he was later on taken in by the goddess after some complications in his home village. On the other hand, Annabeth is also a honey blonde girl that looks like a princess, and Naruto always made sure to treat her that way, much to her delight. She looked like your typical California girl, and she is now after she moved to San Francisco with her family. Although that image was ruined by the stormy gray eyes she got from her mother that seemed to look at you with a cold and calculating gaze. She is a daughter of Athena. No, she didn't break her oath either. Annabeth is, you could say, a brainchild. Anyway, the two demigods were here much to the insistence of the boy. The girl relented in the end since they had been doing what she wanted almost the whole month. They went to the Smithsonian, Hoover Dam, you know, the educational stuff. Hey, you would be perfect for this event, Annabeth told her companion. Wouldn't that give me an unfair advantage? Naruto answered. That's why I said you would be perfect. Annabeth argued, and as she did, the boy appeared on the big screen hanging on the ceiling. Hey, that's perfect. Go on, Naruto. The whiskered blonde chuckled nervously. Annabeth, should I really? I want to stay here with you. The gray-eyed girl blushed, but she held her composure in the end. Go on. It's not like they know. The boy sighed and stood up, earning the cheers of their fellow viewers. Naruto stepped on the court, hands in his pocket. He didn't want to do this, but he couldn't refuse Annabeth, can he? So there he was standing on the court with 8 other contestants. Some of them look like your typical jocks, while others look like your typical middle-aged sports enthusiast. Man, their selection process is too random. The announcer came over and made him drew lots. Unfortunately, Taiki wasn't on his side as he drew dead last. Well, no matter, he was, let's say, blessed in the other department. The contest was now on the way. The overconfident jocks basically embarrassed themselves as they were probably overrun by stage fright. Heck, even the middle-aged guys did better than them. Naruto could tell though, that one of the younger guys had experience as he was able to get most of his shots in. When it came to Naruto's turn, the jocks gave him a look that said, "Who the hell is this guy?" As I said, he was unassuming, except for the orange that he wears. As his turn came, those looks they gave him basically evaporated. Everyone's jaws hang open, except for Annabeth, of course. This doesn't surprise her anymore. Watching Naruto play with the kids of Apollo really made feats like this an everyday occurrence. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe it. The announcer screamed into his mic. I don't believe in what I'm seeing. All the shots sank, without even touching the board. It's a world record if I have ever seen one. Naruto tried to wave off the applause, but the MC grabbed him and began interviewing him. Hey kid, what's your name? He asked. It's Naruto, the boy answered, knowing what was to come when he said his name. Isn't that a ramen topping? The announcer asked, earning the. Naruto gave him an unimpressed laugh. Yeah, I get that a lot. The announcer cleared his throat to clear the awkwardness in the air. So, Naruto, how did you pull that off? Not even the professionals could do that. Practice every day, Naruto said. How long a day do you practice? Was the follow-up question. Basically the whole day, he continued. Sheesh, that is what I call work ethic. You keep that up and I'll probably be interviewing you here as a player. Anyway, congratulations my good sir. Please take this gift bag and shirt from our sponsor Mountain Dew. Another round of applause for contestants everybody. That was great, Annabeth praised as Naruto got up from his seat. You're just as good as them. I'm probably better, Naruto said smugly. Their conversation continued as the dancers came out into the court. They had all smiles on their faces as they danced to the beat that played on the speakers. While some of them danced, the others shot out t-shirts from a mini cannon that they brought out with them. During the number, Naruto and Annabeth didn't expect a dancer to lean in between them, startling the two. I was watching you, the dancer said enthusiastically. I have to say, that is some shooting you got there. Thanks, I guess, Naruto said sheepishly, much to the dismay of his companion. What are you doing here? Annabeth asked, not trying to hide her irritation at all. That's fine. The boss won't mind, the dancer waved her off. I just came to see our little superstar over here. I wouldn't go that far, Naruto said. Anyway, what did you want with us? Annabeth asked. Oh, nothing, she said. Just making sure you don't miss your orientation. That sent a chill up Naruto's spine. Yeah, sure he was supposed to attend an orientation today, but he had that covered already. And, how the hell did this complete stranger know about that? Unless, I don't know what you're talking about, Naruto said in a serious tone. Oh, don't play dumb with me, the dancer said playfully. Shouldn't you be joining your brother at good? More red flags popped up. That possibility was getting more and more plausible, and even Annabeth was picking it up. And to add to that, memories of a popped clone had appeared in his mind. It seemed that Percy really was in trouble at the high school. This is bad. They really had to get out of this place soon. Annie, we need to go, Naruto said, standing up abruptly. Annabeth followed suit as she understood the situation. Yeah, I almost forgot about the reservation at that restaurant. If you'll excuse us, Naruto said as they exited the stadium. Outside. I have a bad feeling about this, Naruto said as they walked briskly outside to get to the subway. Tell me about it, Annabeth answered. Can't we catch a break just this once? There will be no breaks for you, the dancer's voice echoed throughout the hollow tunnel. Surprisingly, there was no one around them despite how busy this station should have been. Who are you? Naruto asked. What do you want from us? I'm Brittany, the dancer introduced herself. And didn't you forget, silly. It's time for your orientation. We should get on a train now. Annabeth told the boy. Oh ho, what makes you think that the trains would be running, little miss? The now named Brittany taunted. As much as I hate to say this, but we'll have to fight our way out of here, Naruto stated. Get your cap on, I'll hold her off. Oh, you're a feisty one, Brittany licked her lips. I will enjoy sucking you dry after I tear you limb from limb. We'll see about that, Naruto drew his kunai. Annabeth, go. Whatever this monster was, it was surprisingly nimble. It was able to avoid the slashes from his blade. Getting frustrated, he tried sending punches and kicks towards the dancer, but he was right. She was a cut above the rest of the monsters he had fought in the past. In one moment, both their feet clashed in the air, and Naruto screamed in pain as he hit something unexpectedly hard. Ow. he yelled. What is your leg made of? It's like it's. Ah, ah, ah. There's no need to go there, Naruto Uzumaki, Brittany interrupted him. Don't you know it's rude to point out other people's flaws? I know that, Naruto gave him a flat look. We both know that you're not a person. How perceptive of you, the dancer laughed. Then, I don't think we need this anymore. She screeched. Her body began to morph right before Naruto's eyes. Her skin turned completely white and her eyes turned bloodshot red. Her hair burst into flames that curled in a serpentine-like fashion. She kept her original dancer outfit, but her legs were different. One of them was made of pure bronze, while the other reminded him of Grover's hooves. No shit. Naruto's eyes widened. You're a vampire. The monster shook her head. Not quite, Naruto Uzumaki. I am an Empausai, a servant of the goddess Hecate. We are formed by dark magic from animal, bronze and ghost. We exist to feed on half-bloods just like you. Did you say GG ghost? Naruto froze. He can deal with any other monster in this world, but ghosts? Nah, not a damn chance. It's the only thing he couldn't beat up to a pulp. Oh, don't be scared, young half-blood, the Empausai said. Now, pucker up and give me a kiss. Naruto couldn't move. He was frozen by his childhood fear. He hated himself at that moment. He could stand in the presence of Orochimaru's killing intent, but knowing this monster was a part ghost was different. How the hell he survived the underworld is beyond me. Anyway, Brittany stalked his newfound prey. She had decided to take her time since the boy wasn't going anywhere anymore. She took her sweet time getting to him. When she was within arm's reach, she grabbed Naruto's by the cheeks and pulled his face close to her own, their lips dangerously close from touching. I suggest you enjoy this little kiss, Brittany said. Because it is going to be your last. As the Empausai brought Naruto's lips to her own, she felt a searing pain from behind her. She looked down to see the tip of a bronze dagger jutting from her stomach. The girl, she said, then she screeched as she broke down into a sulfurous powder. Naruto's eyes widened when he saw Annabeth in front of her taking off her cap of invisibility. Annabeth, he said, you're a lifesaver. Am I? She huffed. Or were you actually enjoying yourself here? No, no, no. Naruto shook his head vehemently. She's part ghost, you know. Ghosts are scary. Right, keep telling yourself that, Annabeth said sarcastically. Naruto sighed. Look, I'll make it up to you later. Right now, we have to get to Percy. He's in the same situation as we are. But how? Annabeth asked. The trains aren't running. I know, you'll have to trust me, Naruto said hastily. What are you, Kaya? Outside of good high school? Put me down. Put me down. Put me down. Annabeth's raspy voice wheezed as Naruto's full sprint started slowing down. She had been screaming for the past 30 minutes or so since Naruto had been running at full speed atop the buildings. Alright, 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 sheesh, Naruto said, complying with the daughter of Athena's wishes. Once her feet were on solid ground, she staggered for a second before socking Naruto in the arm. Ow, the shinobi screamed. Warn me next time. Annabeth scolded the blonde. Why? Naruto gave her a flat look. I thought you were scared of spiders, not heights. Besides, would you have agreed if I told you? Annabeth raised her fist to punch him again, but Naruto profusely apologized. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. Fine, Annabeth said, hunched over trying to catch her breath. You better hurry then. I'll stay here to catch my breath. Okay, okay. Naruto nodded, and raised his hand in a half-ram seal, causing him to disappear in a golden flash. Good high school band room. Naruto shimmered into existence inside the room, startling the two people and the monster in the room. Ah, Naruto Uzumaki, the Empowser greeted. You managed to avoid my colleague, Brittany. Would you prefer me to do your orientation? Not happening, monster. The blonde yelled in response, though he still seemed shaken by the part ghost thing. Leave us or I'll cut you down where you stand. Before Kelly could answer, the sound of chattering could be heard coming towards the door. The orientation from the auditorium must have finished, and the tour group was tromping in the direction. This is perfect, a smile grew on the Empowser's face. She picked up a tuba and threw it towards Percy and his crew. Picking up what the monster wanted to happen, Naruto launched himself at the instrument and caught it. But it was too late. The tour group had heard the commotion. The chattering stopped, and the door was about to open. Time to greet our visitors, the vampire thingy bared her fangs and ran for the door. Although, she didn't anticipate Naruto's speed. With a flick of his wrist, he flung a kunai towards the monster and she evaporated into a sulfurous powder. Looking around at the scene, it didn't look too good for them. So, with the limited time that they had, Naruto cast an illusion in the room. He placed a hand on each of his companions in the band room, and they disappeared in a golden flash, leaving Paul Bloffus and his tour group to watch the fabricated events unfold. Outside, with Annabeth, Annabeth had just about recovered from her death-defying leaps up the New York City's skyscrapers when her soul almost left her body as Naruto and two other people suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Once they landed, the redhead immediately keeled over and disgorged the contents of her stomach on the pavement. By now, you should be used to me suddenly popping up like that, Naruto said, as he moved to check on the girl. Who would ever be used to someone appearing out of nowhere like that without so much as a squeak? Annabeth gave Naruto a flat look. Naruto didn't even get to retort as the other guy in the group went on a rant. Okay, what was that? How did we get out of here? And why do I feel like my insides are trying to get out? The girl asked without giving anyone much of a chance to answer. Oh, Red, it's you, Naruto said flatly. Really? That's it? You haven't seen me in what, 6 months, and that's how you're going to greet me? Red said. You two still owe me an explanation. And my name's Rachel. Who's this girl supposed to be? Annabeth frowned. That's Red, Naruto answered. We met her at the Hoover Dam. Percy almost killed her. My name's Rachel. I didn't try to kill her. Percy and Rachel both protested at Naruto's almost half-assed explanation. Then, Rachel turned to Annabeth and introduced herself. Anyway, as I said, I'm Rachel Elizabeth Dare, and you three owe me an explanation after almost getting killed. Look, Rachel, Percy began. We had just been attacked in broad daylight, and I fear there will be more, so we have to get to safety, so can we tell you about it next time? Rachel sighed. Alright, but don't you forget. But how will we get in touch with you? Naruto asked. The freckled teen thought for a moment. Here, she said, whipping up a permanent marker to write her phone number on Percy's arm. Remember, you owe me, she said, walking back to school to probably fix the mess. When she was gone, Annabeth looked at the two boys and yelled, You told a mortal about us. Not me, Naruto shook his head. We barely told her anything back at Hoover Dam. Annabeth then shifted her gaze to Percy. Naruto was now off the hook. Hey, she could already see through the mist. Percy defended himself. I couldn't lie to her. But why did you tell her the truth? Was Annabeth's follow-up question. She recognized me from the dam. He didn't really answer the question. But that's not important now, you were right. Their target is Camp Half-Blood. Then, what are we waiting for? Naruto said. Let's get to camp. Annabeth nodded. Yes, but we are taking a taxi this time. Hey, I said I was sorry. Naruto said. What's going on? What did I miss? Percy asked, but he was being ignored. Naruto was trying to appease the daughter of Athena, while Annabeth walked to go hail a taxi. Guys, Camp Half-Blood. It was a long taxi ride to get from Percy's high school to their summer camp. What made it longer was the seaweed brain asking Annabeth a stupid question. He made the mistake of asking her about Luke Castellan, the girl's childhood friend. That was obviously a sore subject for the daughter of Athena, as she still hasn't come to terms with the older demigod's betrayal. Maybe it was the fact that she had a silly childhood crush on the son of Hermes, but one thing's for certain, that boy is still alive somewhere, biding his time in his monster-infested ship and plotting an attack on the camp. Mount Tam is still overrun by monsters, she finally said after clamping her mouth for almost the whole ride. Naruto nodded. No doubt he's somewhere up there recovering from that nasty fall. Any word on Grover? Percy asked. He's at camp, Annabeth answered. I'm surprised he came home early, Naruto said. I was expecting him to stay on his quest longer on his quest. Does that mean he found something, or did he? Percy wondered aloud. He knew that this was his best friend's dream. He didn't want to see him sulk in the corner if he failed on his goal. We'll see him later, Naruto said. It's better you see it for yourself. That didn't make Percy feel better. If anything, it confirmed his suspicions that something went wrong on his quest. He hoped it wasn't anything too serious. After that, their ride home was quiet, save for the small tune that the driver was playing on his radio. Naruto looked out the window, watching the scenery of the fading city behind them. They began picking up speed as soon as they rolled off in the countryside. Percy, on the other hand, was staring at the phone number that was written on his hand. He mentally cursed himself for not telling Rachel that phones were bad news for demigods like him, but given the situation they were in, he never got the chance. Their taxi exited the main road on Route 25A. The vehicle traversed the woods until they reached a low ridge of hills. They pulled up at Farm Road 3.141, the base of Half-Blood Hill, and the destination. Though the driver was skeptical at letting him off in the middle of nowhere, but he didn't question it further. Let's be honest, this isn't the worst thing he encountered in his life as a cab driver. Upon trekking into the main area of Camp Half-Blood, they were greeted by their resident guard dragon. You know, it's funny, a year ago or so, he was just small enough to sleep on one of the higher branches, but now he grew so big, so fast, that he has to stay at the base of Talia's pine. The dragon raised his coppery head as soon as he picked up the scent. The trio walk up to him. Hey, Peleus, Annabeth said, scratching the fire-breathing lizard under his chin. Everything's safe, I hope. Steam hissed out of his nostrils as she did that, and his eyes went cross-eyed from the pleasure. Percy scanned the camp. Everything seemed in order. The magical borders were up and running. The golden fleece rested on the lowest branch of Talia's pine. The camp looked peaceful save for the campers milling about in the summer session. The strawberry fields looked as alive as ever. And finally, the Long Island Sound glittered under the sunlight. Despite that, there was something heavy in the atmosphere. There was palpable tension, as if the whole place itself was waiting for something to happen. Percy just shrugged and followed his two companions walk down into the valley. The summer session was indeed full swing. Satyrs played their pipes as they worked in the strawberry fields along with the children of Demeter. Smoke rose from the forges as kids of Hephaestus hammered away on their arts and crafts projects. Pegasus swooped by, carrying the campers having horseback lessons. Annabeth's siblings raced against a pair from the Demeter cabin, and a trireme carried some kids who were fighting an orange sea serpent. Yes, it was a familiar feeling to them. They were back home. I need to talk to Clarice, the girl said. Percy snapped his head at the girl. Say what? He wasn't sure if he heard it right. Clarice was the resident bully, and she and Annabeth didn't see eye to eye, so it was weird that the daughter of Athena was looking for her now. They're working on something, Naruto said. Although, they're being secretive about it. Can't you at least tell us? Percy asked. I'll tell you later, I promise, she said, turning around to run off in a direction. She stopped momentarily and turned to the two, remembering to tell them something. I'll tell Chiron we made it back. He'll want to talk to Percy before the hearing. Hearing? Percy asked. What hearing? She didn't answer. She just turned back around and dashed towards the archery range without turning back. Great, don't tell me anything, why don't you? Percy grumbled. He turned to his other companion. Do you know what's happening? Or at least about the hearing? It's about Grover, Naruto answered. He hasn't found any evidence since we came back last Christmas. They're about to revoke his searcher's license. Say what now? Percy asked. He wasn't sure if he heard the blonde right. Did he just say Grover was about to lose his searcher's license? You heard correctly. Naruto looked towards the woods with a serious expression on his face. But they can't do that. Percy raised his voice. Actually, they can, Naruto said matter-of-factly. They're the ones who gave it to him in the first place. Grr. Percy growled and trudged towards the forest. Whoa, where are you going? Naruto got in the way of the son of Poseidon. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind, Percy answered. That's not a good idea, Naruto shook his head. You might say something that would upset the council. Besides, Annabeth said we'll get to watch the trial, so why don't we go for a walk for a while? You miss camp, don't ya? Percy sighed. Naruto was right. As much as he liked staying with his mother in Manhattan, Camp Half-Blood grew a special place in his heart. After all that he's been through here, how could he not? In the end, he decided not to continue and instead walk around the summer camp to see the new and familiar faces. Fine, where do you want to go first? Percy asked. Actually, I gotta go too. Naruto waved goodbye to his friend. Where are we going? Gotta go talk to Kakashi-sensei. With that, Naruto was gone, leaving Percy to wander through the camp on his own. Training fields. Kakashi sighed as he dodged an attack from one of the kids. These kids were quite good at fighting, especially the Aries kids, but they still had a long way to go when it comes to their teamwork. There was no animosity among them, but there was always this competitiveness in them, especially when it comes to those from different cabins. Funny story about that one, he tried giving the bell test to these your brash kids, and he was right about one thing. They repeated the actions of the previous genin who had undergone the test. When given a goal where only one individual would prevail, things turned into a competition. They were pit against each other. What did you expect? It reached the point where instead of attacking the Jonin, the demigods focused on sabotaging each other. Heck, he didn't even need to lay down any traps. The kids basically did it for him. Well, the Hephaestus kids did anyway. That whole incident prompted him to focus on team-building exercises. He was broken out of his thoughts when he heard an all-too-familiar voice. The sudden distraction almost. Oi, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto's voice called out. His old student may be mature, but his old boisterous self comes out sometimes. Back again, are we, Naruto? Kakashi gave his famous eye smile to the blonde demigod. How was your date? What are you talking about, Kakashi-sensei? That wasn't a date, was it? Naruto sputtered out, getting a little red in the process. I don't know. Was it? Kakashi teased further. Naruto cleared his throat, calming himself. Hardly a date, Naruto said, trying to keep as professional as possible. Some Empowser attacked and ruined our day. I'm sorry to hear that, the silver-haired Jonin said. So, anyway, what can I do for you? I can't imagine this being a regular visit. Nothing gets past you, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto shook his head. I was just here to ask how the search for Nico was going. I'm sorry, Naruto, Kakashi said, looking sad at the news he was giving his student. His trail had gone cold. It's like he's not even here anymore. Well, thanks for trying, I guess, Naruto sighed. He feared this would be his answer. He was part of a very small list of campers who were sent out to look for Nico. They had combed through almost the whole of the US. Well, technically, he and Kakashi did most of the work, sending hordes of clones around the whole country looking for the lost boy. That's too shinobi for you. Normal rules for the average human don't work on you. But, he should have known that. He was part of the hunting party, and they found nothing. He may be a son of Artemis, but Kakashi is better at tracking than he was, and even his trail had gone cold. He didn't even know why he had to ask his sensei. Maybe he was expecting a different answer. And those were the least of their worries. War was definitely inevitable, and things weren't looking good for the camp. That was what this training was for, to prepare the demigods the best they could. So, how are they doing? Naruto asked, desperate to change the subject. They're far from ready, Kakashi answered. I'm afraid if I push them any harder, some might get injured. Let's be honest, they're not as durable as shinobi are. You could try, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said. These demigods might surprise you with their resilience. He, then, took off his shirt, revealing a well-developed set of muscles protected by fishnet armor. This earned the looks of quite a lot of the demigods, especially those of the female population. Actually, I kind of miss your training, sensei, and training by myself is getting kind of lonely. So, you want to join in with them? Kakashi smirked under his mask. Being an old student of mine doesn't mean I'll go easy on you. Naruto returned the smirk. He knew his sensei was sporting. I wouldn't have it any other way. Later, Naruto walked through the camp, having finished his training with his sensei. True to his words, Kakashi had upped the intensity of his training, much to the disappointment of the other campers. And true to Naruto's words, they were able to keep us, albeit a little exhausted. He sighed contentedly. He hadn't had training like that in a long time, and having someone to suffer through the training was definitely a good change of pace. Hey, Naruto. A girl's voice greeted him. You seem to be happy. Did you enjoy your date? What are you talking about? That wasn't a date, Naruto sputtered out without even checking who said that. He focused on the owner of the voice and brightened when he saw Bianca, cheerfully walking towards him. It was Bianca D'Angelo. Come on, Naruto. It's what everyone was talking about at camp. Everyone. At camp. Naruto said, dumbfounded. He always came to camp for a visit in between some time to join the hunting parties looking for Nico while juggling school and helping Percy to reply at good, but why didn't he hear anything at all? What are they talking about? Bianca thought for a moment, but she spotted Chiron trotting with Percy riding on his back. Don't you have a super important trial you're going to attend? Bianca said. That's right. Naruto gasped in realization. Grover's trial. Let's go. Bianca sighed under her breath. She dodged a bullet on that one. She wasn't the one to explain it to the blonde. Naruto and Bianca had reached the site of Grover's trial just as Percy was getting off of Chiron. It was an odd sight to hold a trial if you were human, of course. But if you were a satyr, it was perfect. It was just Grover standing in front of 3 topiary thrones shaped out of rose bushes, and sitting on the thrones were the fattest satyrs both had ever seen with sleepy expressions and glazed looks. It reminded the two boys of a petting zoo. Both Naruto and Percy always went into the woods to train and for capture the flag, but they had never been to this part of the woods before. He also had never seen the 3 fat satyrs Grover was talking to before, but they looked important, so he assumed that they were the Council of Cloven Elders. Their friend, on the other hand, hadn't changed a bit since they last saw him in the winter, but they noted that his acne flared up, and his horn stuck up off his curly hair. Nevertheless, it was the same old Grover they knew and loved. Naruto immediately waved when he saw Annabeth in the crowd. Percy was surprised. He still couldn't believe that Annabeth was working with Clarice. It was a sight you would not believe considering they don't get along very well, usually. Speaking of Annabeth, she currently had her arm around a girl who seemed familiar to Percy, but the boy couldn't quite place where he had seen her. The girl was small and petite, with wispy hair the color of amber, and a pretty elfish face. She was wearing a green chiton and sandals. Punk, Uzumaki, Clarice greeted the two as they joined them. That meant the girl was in a good mood at the moment. It's going terribly. Juniper wailed into Annabeth's shoulder. What did we miss? What happened? Naruto asked. Nothing so far. They haven't given a verdict yet, Annabeth answered. But I'm sure everything is going to be fine, okay, Juniper. Master Underwood, the council member on the right, spoke up, cutting off all conversation. You expect us to believe these outrageous claims of yours? But silliness, Grover stammered out. It's true. The council goat who spoke up turned to his colleagues and muttered something. Chiron cantered off to the front of the 3 plump satyrs and stood next to them. The other 2 didn't look impressed and stared at Grover with distaste as Silliness spoke in a low voice. Silliness cleared his throat and adjusted his yellow polo that was threatening to explode from the belly it was trying to contain. Mr. Underwood, for 6 months, we have listened to your scandalous claims that you heard the great god Pan speak. But I did. Impudence, said the fat goat on the left. Now, Marin, Chiron spoke, acting as the voice of reason. Patience. But the elder named Marin was having none of it. Patience. I've had it up to my horns with the nonsense you've been spouting. As if the god would speak too, he eyed Grover with disgust. To him. Juniper rose from Annabeth's shoulders and moved to charge at the orders, but Clarice held her back. Wrong fight, girlie, Clarice advised. Wait. For 6 months, Silliness continued. We have indulged you, Master Underwood. We let you keep your searcher's license. We allowed you to travel, to look for proof of your preposterous claims. And what have you found in your 6 months of travel? I just needed more time, Grover said, but he didn't get a chance to speak. Nothing, the satyr in the middle answered the question. You have found nothing. Grover tried to protest, even more, but Silliness raised his hand to stop him. Chiron leaned in and muttered something to the 3 satyrs. There was a small argument among the 3, but Chiron said something else and Silliness sighed while nodding reluctantly. Master Underwood, Silliness announced. We will give you one more chance. Grover brightened. Thank you. 1 more week. As fast as the bright expression came, it also left just as quickly. But sir, that's impossible. 1 more week, Mr. Underwood. And if you can't find any proof, then it is time for you to pursue another career. I suggest something to soothe your dramatic talents like puppet theater or perhaps tap dancing. But sir, I can't lose my license. Grover tried to reason. My whole life. Silliness didn't listen. He just clapped his hands signaling the end of the trial. This meeting is adjourned. Let us now enjoy our noonday meal. With another clap of his hands, a bunch of nymphs melted out of the trees carrying platters of fruits, vegetables, tin cans, and other goat delicacies. The circle broke, and Grover walked dejectedly to his friends. Well, that could have gone better, Naruto said, trying to lighten the mood. Don't even start, Naruto. Grover sent a small glare at Naruto and turned to Percy to greet him. Hey, Percy. Oh, Grover, Juniper said. Don't listen to them. Those old goats don't know how hard you've tried. She's right, Clarice added. What do they know if the fatsos sit around on their fat asses all day? Bianca gasped at the Ares cabin's counselor, Clarice, language. What? It's true. Clarice defended herself. Couldn't you have worded it nicer? Bianca said. Nicer. She glanced at the goats stuffing their mouths. No. Her voice and expression then turned dark. There is still that option if you're interested. Grover seemed to contemplate the idea, but Juniper jumped in. No, Grover, I won't let you. What choice do I have? Grover reasoned. 1 week is just too short. Traveling alone would take up that time. Do you even know how to find your way around? Countered the wood nymph. I'll think about it, Grover told the daughter of the war god. What's everyone talking about? Percy asked, not knowing what the three were talking about, but before anyone could answer him. Before anyone could answer, a conch horn blew in the distance. Inspection's up, Naruto said. We have to go. Why doesn't anyone tell me anything? Percy complained. We'll tell you later, Percy. We promise, Annabeth told him in an attempt to appease the son of Poseidon, but it didn't seem to work. What she said next though did the trick. Unless you want kitchen patrol duty after dinner. Percy's eyes widened. He almost forgot the state he left his cabin when he left to go back home to his mother after coming home from the quest. He will for sure be tied with the Hermes cabin at this rate. With that, he made a dash for his cabin. Commons area. The cabins, 12 buildings, each dedicated to one of the 12 Olympian gods, were arranged in a U shape, just as the thrones on Olympus were arranged. Each of the cabins housed the children of the gods, except for the 2 head cabins and until 2 years ago, Cabin 8. Last year, Cabin 1 housed Talia Grace, the hero of Half-Blood Hill, who through some plotting from Kronos, was brought back to life by the power of the golden fleece that Clarice and company had brought back from Polyphemus Island. Now, after she joined the hunt and left camp, the cabin is once again empty and out of the inspection. Cabin 8, on the other hand, was mostly honorary and only served as lodging for the hunters of Artemis whenever they visited, which is a rare occurrence. That is until 2 years ago. Artemis, the virgin goddess of the hunt, took pity on a boy that was battered and beaten from a fight with his supposed best friend and accepted him as her own child. It wasn't just that. Through a series of events, the boy now shared her godly energy, making him like a true blood kin. Now, with the cabin occupied, it was now considered during the inspection. Anyway, now that the little history lesson recap is over, we find our favorite blonde shinobi walking alongside Bianca. They were fresh out of Grover's trial, and they were on the way back to the cabins for inspection. Sorry you have to do kitchen patrol every night, Naruto apologized to Bianca. It's okay, the younger girl said. It's not your fault. I feel like it is my fault for bringing you here and having you get stuck in the Hermes cabin, Naruto shook his head. Well, what can you do? Bianca shrugged. It's not your fault that Dad doesn't have a cabin here. That just sucks, Naruto complained. It had been months since Naruto's small group had found out about Bianca and Nico's heritage. It was a shock at first, but looking at how Bianca defeated the skeleton warriors that chased them across the whole of America, even inside the camp, it all seemed to make sense. And despite knowing the truth, they kept it to themselves, knowing how the activity's director would react. Anyway, I'll see you at dinner, Naruto said as he waved goodbye to his friend as he stopped in front of his cabin. Bianca waved back to the blonde and continued her trek back to cabin 11. Just as soon as she left, Selena Beauregard turned from cabin 7, which was just across his own. She was nice, don't get me wrong, but she was a terror when it came to cabin inspections. She was an absolute neat freak and always required the cabins to be pretty. That would be a problem for Percy. Hey, Naruto, Selena greeted the blonde as she batted her eyelashes. I see you're back from your date. Why does everyone keep calling it that? Naruto complained aloud. Selena giggled at the clueless blonde's reaction. Only teasing. Now, shall we check your cabin? Naruto grumbled something about misunderstandings under his breath and led Selena to the doorway. The inspector's eyes scanned the room and scrutinized every detail, screening the area for dust particles and any trash lying around. Before the girl could even ask, Naruto led the girl into the room and opened the door on the other side in order for her to inspect the inside of the room. It was as neat and tidy as the room outside. Selena marked something on her papyrus scroll and turned to the blonde. As expected from you, Naruto, she said. You never fail to amuse me with how clean your room is. I aim to please, Naruto answered with a smug expression on his face. He then shifted to a thinking pose. Say, if I may ask, how did Percy do in the inspection? Well, Percy cleaned up well today, surprisingly, Selena answered. Oh really? Naruto gave her an incredulous look. That can't be true. Unless. Naruto's face brightened and immediately waved at the inspector. Gotta go. Bye. Okay. Selena just shrugged and continued on her inspection. The blonde dashed over to cabin 3, the Poseidon cabin, excited to see the big lovable Cyclops. Percy, Tyson, Naruto called out. You there? Naruto. Tyson's voice called back. Soon after, the door opened revealing Tyson. He looked the same as before. Right now, he was wearing ragged XXXL jeans and a tattered flannel shirt under a flower-patterned apron and rubber cleaning gloves on his hands. Upon seeing the blonde, the Cyclops immediately pounced at the blonde and wrapped him in a huge bear hug. A normal human's bone would have cracked at the pressure that the baby Cyclops was squeezing, but Naruto wasn't normal, even by shinobi standards, but he was getting smothered by Tyson's chest. Tyson, Naruto wheezed as the air was squeezed out of him. Could you let up for a sec? Oh sorry, Tyson released the blonde who was beginning to turn blue. No biggie, you big guy. Naruto punched the big guy on the shoulder. We missed you. When did you get back? Just now, Tyson answered. Boss gave me time off. So, you guys wanna hang out? Naruto asked. Definitely, both Percy and Tyson nodded. The boys spent the whole afternoon catching up. It was a nice change of pace after being attacked by vampires or something like that. They first went to the forges and helped Charles Beckendorf from the Hephaestus cabin in creating weapons for the camp. Well, Tyson mostly helped. It was amazing how great he had gotten at creating weapons. He made a flaming double-bladed axe so fast that even the cabin counselor was impressed. I guess that internship was doing wonders for him. He even tried to teach his two brothers how to create magic weapons, but it just wasn't for them. While they were working, the lovable Cyclops told him his life under the sea. The two demigods watched his eyes lit up as he described the Cyclops forges and the palace of Poseidon, but the gleam died down when he spoke of how tense the situation was with the upcoming war. He told them of the old sea gods, the gods who ruled the seas before Poseidon usurped the throne. Apparently, they were starting to stir and challenge the sea gods' rule. At the time Tyson had left, battles were already starting to rage across the Atlantic Ocean. Don't get me wrong, the boys know that war is looming over them in the surface world, but both sides have not made a move yet. They were surprised that things were already heating up under the sea. In any case, Poseidon assured them that he wanted both his sons to stay at the camp. And hey, he didn't forget about Naruto. He also sent his regards to him. After their crafting session, Annabeth joined them at the canoe lake. Whatever her business with Clarice was taken care of, and she opted to join the boys. She had come a long way too. 2 years ago, she hated Tyson, but now, after a quest with the lovable oaf, she learned to accept him too. She was really glad to see Tyson too, but even as they spoke, the daughter of Athena seemed anxious. She kept stealing glances at the woods. Naruto and Percy knew what she was worried about, and they couldn't blame her. They haven't seen the satyr all day, but they understood why. They were witnesses to the satyr's experience. Well, the two boys were anyway. So, they couldn't believe that the council was threatening to take away his license. It was his lifelong dream. He carried on the dreams of his father and his uncle, who lost their lives looking for the lost god Pan. Losing it now would crush him. So, what's this other way that Grover could try? Percy finally had a chance to ask. It's what Clarice had been scouting out. I even helped her out in the spring, Annabeth gave out her answer. Percy scrunched his eyebrows. It was something he wanted answers for since this morning, but it wasn't what he expected. He got a vague answer. As much as I hate to say this, but even though it is Grover's one and only chance, it's too dangerous for him, Naruto said. Goat boy scares me, Tyson interjected. Why's that, big guy? Naruto chuckled. Tyson can stand down almost anything, man-eating Canadians, an older, mean as Cyclops, and fire-breathing bronze bulls, but a satyr scares him. That's a first. Hooves and horns, Tyson answered simply. And goat fur makes my nose itch. Believe me, bro, he's just as much as scared as you are of him. Naruto said, but Tyson didn't answer any more, leaving the group in silence. To break the ice, Naruto began again, hey, did you hear? We're getting a new war game tonight. Apparently, it's the new sword instructor's idea. Really? Do you think it has something to do with the crates in the sword arena? Percy's face brightened. He was excited. It wasn't that he was bored with the capture the flag, the scroll retrieval exercise, or the chariot races, but it was a nice change of pace to play a different game for a change. Maybe, Naruto said as he skipped a rock across the lake. In any case, I'm getting a bad feeling from that guy. Are you sure? Percy's raised his eyebrows on Naruto's claim. He seems okay to me. Not quite though, Naruto said. There's just something about that story that just isn't sitting right with me. Lighten up, Naruto, Annabeth clapped the boy on the shoulder. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he really is a son of Athena who reached old age. You sure you're not saying that cause he's your older sibling? Naruto joked. You sure you're not saying that cause you're scared to lose to in the new game tonight? Annabeth countered. Naruto lightened up and let out a light-hearted chuckle. Fine, but there's no way I'm losing to you in the games tonight. We'll see about that. It was another morning in Camp Half-Blood, way more than usual. Apparently, there was this Ethiopian draken that had been spotted at the camp's borders. Naruto, with his usual morning routine, was one of the first ones on the scene. Nothing untoward happened, thankfully, since the magical borders were stronger than ever. Percy, on the other hand, was only able to get the scoop on the news when he woke up. He was so exhausted from the day that he slept through the commotion. Despite being held from the camp by the boundaries, the monster was persistent. It prowled the hills looking for any chink in the defenses, any weakness that it can exploit to get to the day's meal. Lee Fletcher led a group consisting of Naruto and the others that drove the beast away from their camps. At first, the arrows just made it angrier, but a Rasengan that broke its hide made the message clear. 20 arrows and all we did was anger that thing, Lee said. Good thing Naruto was there or else we'd just be making it even angrier. And we should expect more attacks like this one, more and more frequently, the new sword instructor added. Even though there was good news, the campers were still anxious. Muttering broke out across the tables. It was no secret that the next target for the Titan Lord's army was their beloved camp. It was expected that the attack would come sometime in the summer, but no one knew any specifics. It was pitiful really, the numbers left at camp right now. There were 10 campers in all left, a far number from what Percy and Naruto witnessed in their first days at camp. Yes, there were ones who hailed from the elemental nations, but they had yet to return. Some had died in the brewing war, while others deserted to join Luke's side. Still, others had just disappeared without a trace. Fret not, everyone, Kakashi said with his signature eye smile, quelling the fears of the campers. This is the exact thing we are training for. Quintus nodded, which is also why we will have a new war game tonight. The other campers didn't like the glint in the eyes of the new camp counselor. Only one other camper had glints in his eyes like this, and it usually didn't mean something good. Yes, that is enough of the announcements for this morning, Chiron added, as he picked up his own goblet. Let us bless this fine meal and eat. To the gods. As the custom around these parts, each demigod walked to the bronze brazier and offered a portion of their food to the gods. Everyone offered portions of their meals to their respective godly parent, except for Naruto. He offered a portion to his parent like everybody else and then some. He also offered a portion of his food to his patron god, Hestia, goddess of the hearth. When everyone was back at their table, no one began to eat. All eyes were at the head table, specifically at a certain masked Jonin who was about to take a bite of his food. Naruto shook his head. It was a common occurrence really. Every day, the campers would try their hardest to catch a glimpse of what was hidden underneath that mask. The female population, especially, wanted to see if their counselor was attractive or not. Even the males were intrigued at what he hid underneath the piece of cloth. Naruto knew better than to try and get a glimpse of his sensei's face. He tried it before with Sakura and Sasuke, and it failed miserably every single time. The campers stared intently, as the son of the White Fang raised his hand to undo his mask. It was like time slowed down. Nobody dared to breathe nor blink, scared that they would miss whatever was hidden. Naruto just shook his head at the others' antics. He tried to dissuade them, but they were just persistent. The suspense was killing them. Suddenly, out of nowhere, an extremely loud satyr came out of the woods chasing a wood nymph. It was like a scene taken straight from a romantic comedy movie. The demigod's eyes were immediately torn from the head table to look at the new commotion. They watched as the satyr chased the dryad across the clearing, unable to catch the agile wood nymph. In the end, the scene ended as usual. The dryad turned into a tree, causing the satyr to bump into the bark that appeared out of nowhere, knocking him out cold. Everyone shook their heads at the interaction but instantly remembered what they were trying so hard to see just moments earlier. Their head whipped back to the head table. To everyone's shock and chagrin, Kakashi was already finished eating, leaning back in his chair and patting his stomach. Ah, the masked Jonin sighed contentedly. That was another fine meal. I have to remember to thank the dryads for the good food. He opened his eyes and noticed that the campers were staring at him with their mouths hanging open. What? Is there something on my face? He asked, patted the area around his mouth as if the food was stuck to it. Groans were expelled out of nowhere as they returned their focus to their own food in front of them. Naruto laughed internally at his fellow campers' reaction. He tried to warn them, but they still didn't listen. They had been at it for weeks without any luck. Naruto had given up on that long ago. His sensei was just always one step ahead of him. The shinobi was taken out of his thoughts when Annabeth grabbed him from his table. Wait, where are we going? Naruto protested. To Percy's table, she said, pointing at table 3. Naruto's gaze shifted to the said table and saw a dejected Grover sitting on the Poseidon table. He looked a little worse for wear and barely even touched his food. We're going to convince him now. Naruto's eyebrows raised. Yes, so get your ass up and come with me, Annabeth told him off. But my food, Naruto said. Annabeth sighed and let him go for a second. Go get it and follow me. Naruto and Annabeth soon slid on either side of Grover on the Poseidon table. Hey, you two are not supposed to be here, Percy said as soon as he saw the others. We need to talk about that, Annabeth insisted. But the rules, Percy said despite his curiosity about wanting to know what that is. Look, Percy, Naruto spoke up after swallowing one hefty serving from his plate. Grover is in trouble. The labyrinth is his only chance of keeping his license. It's what Annie and Clarice had been investigating all this time. You mean the maze that kept the Minotaur? Percy's eyes widened at the revelation. It's here in America. Shush. Naruto shushed his adopted brother. He always seemed to forget that names held power, whether they were in the camp or not. But yes, obviously, like everything we read in Greek mythology, it migrated to the west as well. So, we just find out which building this thing isn't. Building. Annabeth scoffed. Percy, the labyrinth is huge. It won't fit just under one city, much less a building. We could be talking about under the whole of the North American continent here. So, if it's that big, can it reach all the way to the underworld? Percy asked as if remembering something. It could be, but we can't be sure. The labyrinth is just under the surface world, like a second skin, while the underworld is even deeper than that, Naruto explained, but a sudden realization hit him. Why? What did you learn? Was it? Naruto and Percy shared a look. Naruto could tell that Percy just learned something important. Percy was about to explain, but Annabeth interjected with the current topic at hand. Our point is you can go anywhere through the labyrinth. If you don't get lost and die a horrible death, Grover muttered. Hey, don't be like that. Naruto tried to comfort the satyr. Clarice got out of there alive. If she could do it, you could do it too. Barely, Grover argued. And Chris, he lived as well. Annabeth completed his sentence. He just got driven insane. Oh joy, Grover said sarcastically. Like that was any better. Whoa, 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 Percy held his hands up. What's this about a crazy guy? Remember the mission Clarice went on last year? Naruto explained. Apparently, Chris Rodriguez appeared near out of nowhere in Arizona, near Clarice's mom's house. Percy remembered the name somewhere. He remembered eavesdropping on him on the Princess Andromeda. That's where Clarice has been all this time. And what do you mean he just appeared? Annabeth nodded. He was found wandering around the desert, in full Greek armor, in 120-degree weather, muttering something about string. String. Percy deadpanned. What does have to do with anything? He was completely mad, so Clarice brought him to her mom's home so the mortals wouldn't shut him in the asylum. She tried her best to get him back to normal, even Chiron came to interview him, but it didn't do any good. The four demigods shivered at that thought. So, you think, this is the solution to Grover's problems? But it's a maze, right? Percy asked. Grover agreed readily. Full of horrible traps, dead ends, illusions, psychotic goat-killing monsters. Not when we have the string, Annabeth explained, excitedly. She seemed to enjoy talking about the labyrinth so much. After finding Chris, Chiron sent her to scout, but it was too dangerous. There were some close calls. Her voice switched to a frustrated tone. That's when she brought me in. I tried to research everything I could, but I wasn't much of a help, but I really think this could help Grover out. How could Pan be underground? Percy inquired. It's a bad idea, right? Grover looked to the son of Poseidon for support. There are no flowers, no sunshine, no coffee shops. Nothing. There's no way he's there, right? What are you talking about? Naruto shook Grover's shoulders. It's either this or your dream dies with the puppet theater. That's actually sounding much better. The satyr shuddered. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Before anyone can talk any further, Quintus cleared his throat. Naruto and Annabeth were pushing it, sitting on the Poseidon table. Annabeth sighed. Just talk him to it. She nodded to Naruto and they both returned to their respective tables. Somewhere in the woods of Camp Half-Blood. After breakfast, a satyr emerged from the shrubbery where a man with gravity-defying hair was waiting for him reading an orange pocketbook. Sensing the new presence of the newcomer, he looked up from his literature. Are you followed? The satyr shook his head. I'm positive. All right. The white-haired man closed his book and brought out a sack of cans he was hiding behind his back. That was a great performance out there, Billy. I aim to please. The satyr bowed as if he were in front of some spectators. Same time tomorrow. Kakashi shook his head. They might start getting suspicious. I'll use some genjutsu tomorrow to shake things up. Well, if you say so, Billy shrugged. With that, both parties nodded at each other and walked away as if nothing happened. After dinner, that night, the sword instructor had everyone suit up in their combat armor. This wasn't anything new since they did this every time they played Capture the Flag. The difference was the tension in the air, like this training exercise was a lot more serious than usual. Apparently, there were some crates stocked in the sword arena, and sometime during the day, they disappeared. Those who were able to see the crates figured that whatever they contained was connected to their exercise. This seems more like real combat more than a training exercise, Kakashi said. Oh, stop being a worrywart, Kakashi, Quintus told the other counselor. Think of it as a spar. A deadly, no-holds-barred spar, the Jonin sighed. Right, gather round, the swordmaster announced. You will be in teams of 2. Every camper immediately started talking and pairing up with their friends. And of course, Quintus spoke up to burst their bubble. Which have already been chosen. AWWWWW. The excitement was replaced with complaints. Now, this training exercise doesn't seem all that fun anymore. Now, Guy, Kakashi said. We need to be flexible. In war, especially this coming one, you may be paired up with someone you don't even know personally. You will still be expected to work like a well-oiled machine. Well said, Quintus cleared his throat. Now, your goal is simple. Collect the golden laurels that are wrapped in a silk package on only one of the monsters. There are 6 monsters all in all, and 5 of them are dummy packages. Find the wreath before other teams, and of course, you have to slay the monster to claim your prize. The campers murmured excitedly. Even if they didn't get their preferred partner, the game sounded fun. This is an application of everything they had been training for years. I will now announce your partners. Quintus spoke again after giving the campers time to internalize the news. There will be no trading, no switching, and no complaining. Aruf. The large hellhound chimed happily as she buried her face on a plate of pizza. Quintus started reading off names. Charles Beckendorf was paired off with Silena Beauregard. Excited whispers broke out from the Aphrodite table. Connor and Travis Stoll formed another team, no surprise there. Clarice and Lee Fletcher of the Apollo cabin were paired together, a deadly combination. Quintus continued reading off names until he reached Percy Jackson and Annabeth Chase. Percy looked at Annabeth excitedly, but his partner was looking at Naruto with a challenging look. Naruto Uzumaki and Bianca D'Angelo, Quintus read off. Naruto met with Annabeth's gaze and returned it before turning to his partner and nodding to her. And finally, the counselor read the last name on the list. Grover Underwood and Tyson. Both Cyclops and Satyr jumped up of their seats and spoke up. "Be but goat boy." "What? Be but?" The two of them protested, but they were immediately shut off by Quintus. "No complaining," he scolded. "Now, get with your partner. You have 2 minutes to prepare." Into the woods. Naruto and Bianca lurked through the woods, hunting their target. The younger demigod was just happy that she was paired up with someone as capable as Naruto. No scratch that, she wouldn't have it any other way. Answer, through the forest they walked, searching for whatever monster held their prize. Somewhere in their woods, they could hear the Stoll brothers tripping over themselves and cursing up a storm. "You know, sometimes I doubt if they really are children of Hermes," Naruto told his partner, earning a chuckle. "Hey, we heard that." Both Connor and Travis called out, causing the two to laugh even more. Crack. Both demigods froze at the sudden sound. It looks like the monster would be hunting them, not the other way around. The monster must have startled itself when it stepped on the twig. Scuttling noises seemed to reverberate around them, and then it appeared, a giant scorpion with thick jagged pincers, an armored tail, and a 3-foot-long stinger. "Get ready," Naruto told the newbie. "Arrows ready." Naruto and Bianca each drew their arrows and took aim. They let loose their projectiles, but they only shattered on the scorpion's hide. It did no damage, only making it angry. The monster roared, then it lunged forward. "Scatter!" Naruto yelled as both of them jumped in opposite directions. The giant scorpion was fast for its size. It made its decision, quickly turning towards Bianca. The long tail shot forward, aiming straight for where Bianca landed. Thanks to her training, she was agile enough to roll away from the pointy appendage. "Shit!" Naruto cursed when he saw the monster applying pressure to Bianca. "Bianca!" he yelled, throwing a kunai with an explosive tag dangling from the other end. She leaped into the air, barely avoiding one of the legs and catching the weapon. "What do I do?" Bianca asked. "Stick it on its body somewhere," Naruto advised. She turned to the scorpion that was scuttling, turning around to face her. The scorpion once again lunged. Bianca weaved around the swipes. Her moves weren't as polished as an experienced fighter, but they were enough to avoid certain deaths. Naruto could have jumped in at any time, but he was impressed that Bianca was keeping up with the not-so-little monster. Not long after, Bianca yelped after another claw attack, but she managed to avoid it and stabbed the kunai on the rock-like hide, specifically on the face. The paper attached, then, started hissing. The monster, though, retaliated and slammed Bianca in the midsection, knocking her away. The scorpion loomed over the demigod that was just slowly getting up. Naruto decided that it was this moment to join the fight. Naruto flickered towards the groggy demigods and socked the monster on its face. He got Bianca in his arms and moved back to a safe distance, watching the paper bomb get consumed by the spark and explode. The explosion shook the forest and distracted both demigod and monster, who were fighting by Zeus's fist. Naruto watched if their opponent would get on its feet and continue the fight, but nothing happened. All that the two could hear were the nearby fighting that began to resume again. "Well, that was anticlimactic," Naruto let out a breath. He then turned to his partner and asked, "You okay?" "I'll be okay," Bianca said. "That's good," the blonde sighed in relief. "You did great out there. Now, let's go see if we fought the right one." Bianca and Naruto slowly crept towards the scorpion with the guard still up. They had to make sure that the monster was truly dead, lest fatal consequences occur. Naruto reached for the package tied on the scorpion's tail. "Did we win?" Bianca asked. "Just a sec," Naruto answered as he unwrapped their prize. A bit of rustling later, and they were now in possession of 2 golden laurels. "Congratulations," Naruto said as he handed one over to the younger demigod. "You won a game all by yourself." Bianca blushed. "No, I wouldn't say that. I had a lot of help from you." Naruto chuckled, "But did you see how well you handled the scorpion?" "I suppose." The daughter of Hades looked away, as she got flustered from the praise. "Here." Naruto gently took the laurel from her hand. "Let me put it on you." He took a look at the girl. "You look good with that." "Do I really?" "Of course." Bam. Before any of them could say anything, the quiet of the night was interrupted as the sound of breaking rocks echoed through the woods. "Looks like they need our help," Naruto said. "Let's go." The two demigods weaved through the trees towards the other campers. Not long after that, they were greeted with a sight of pure carnage. There were 4 scorpions clustered all together. Trees and broken rocks were scattered everywhere. Fortunately, the trees were part of the few unoccupied ones. Screams got Naruto's attention. He turned towards the source of the screams and saw that Connor Stoll was under one of the scorpions about to get devoured. With quick thinking, Naruto hurled a kunai towards the monster, but it hit the ground under it. The scorpion looked around to see where the attack came from. Seeing nothing, it opened its pincers ready to cut the demigod to pieces. Before it could do any damage, a force kicked it upwards, sending it flying up to the air. Naruto quickly followed it up with a giant Rasengan, crushing it with the dense chakra. "You okay?" Naruto asked. "I'm fine," Connor answered. Upon gathering his bearings, he opened his eyes and looked towards his savior. "Fart, you already won." Sheesh. Naruto picked his ears, trying to get the ringing out of his ears caused by Connor's sudden outburst. "You didn't need to shout. What's got you worked up anyway?" "'Cause I was busting my ass fighting the scorpion, but it didn't have the laurels anyway," he explained. "That's okay." Naruto patted the boy on the back to calm him down. "You'll get 'em next time. Come on. We have scorpions to take care of." It didn't take long for them to eliminate the remaining scorpions. Clarice handled a lot of them effortlessly. Upon meeting with the others in a clearing within the woods, the daughter of Ares was livid when she saw the newbie wearing the laurels along with the ninja boy. It looked like she had lost another game to the blonde. "All right, everyone," Quintus said. "Let us congratulate our winners Bianca D'Angelo and Naruto Uzumaki." There was a round of applause from the group. Has anyone seen Percy?" Grover meekly spoke up. No one answered. The others were also looking to the other campers for answers. Sadly, none of them had crossed paths with the pair. "That means Annabeth is missing too." Naruto's eyes widened. He raised his hands in front of him and yelled, "Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." A small army of Narutos appeared in the clearing. "Naruto, wait." The Jonin tried to stop the other shinobi, but all the clones shot off in opposite directions to scour the woods of any trace of Annabeth and Percy. Kakashi sighed. He never did listen till now. "Everyone." Chiron spoke up. "Did you really not see anything? Any clue will be very helpful." "There was this scorpion trying to force itself through the rocks back at Zeus's fist," Clarice stated. "That's a good enough lead," Kakashi said. "We'll begin our search around the rock formation." They couldn't have gone far. Kakashi and the crew made their way to Zeus's fist. Now you would wonder why the pile of rocks was named after the Lord of the Sky. Well, from one angle, it looked like a fist, and it was only natural to name things after the king of the gods. On the other hand, the rocks also looked like a pile of deer droppings from any other angle. From then on, Chiron prohibited the camper from calling it poop pile, since it was already named after Zeus, and he wouldn't appreciate the disrespect. Anyway, the campers looked around the area. Kakashi had sent a clone to look for Naruto, so he could help the others look for the missing campers around the area. When Naruto came back, he helped the others look around the vicinity of the rock formation. He almost jumped when Juniper melded out of trees near the rocks. "So, this is where you lived?" Naruto made small talk as he walked near the tree. "Nice tree." "Thanks," Juniper said, her cheeks turning a darker shade of green. It seemed that Naruto had the same effect on her, just like to other nymphs. She looked around at the search party combing the area. "What's all this for?" "We're looking for Percy and Annabeth," Naruto said. "Have you seen them?" "Oh." Juniper jumped. "I saw them around this area and told them about Luke coming here back when he was still with the camp. But then this big ugly scorpion came and I had to hide." "Wait, what did you say?" Naruto was surprised at the sudden revelation. "Scratch that. You said you talked to Percy and Annabeth here." "Yes, but I didn't see where they went cause of the monster," she explained. "Well, thanks for the info anyway." Naruto bowed and relayed the information to the other campers. About 2 hours later, Clarice called out, "They're here." Naruto immediately rushed towards the war girl's location. True to her word, there was Percy crawling out of the rocks. Not far behind him, Annabeth crawled out. Without even waiting for the girl to get up, Naruto scooped her up and wrapped the girl in an embrace. "Are you okay?" he asked. "Where have you been? Are you hurt?" Annabeth blushed at Naruto fussing over her. She was surprised that the blonde was even worried about her. She was expecting the attention to go to Percy, since he was the blonde's brother, but this was what was happening. Speaking of Percy, I'm here too, you know, the son of Poseidon deadpanned as he watched his adopted brother fuss over the daughter of Athena. He had to admit, he was feeling a bit jealous, not because of the concern over the girl, but because of the contact. Stop fussing over your girlfriend, Blondie, or you'll suffocate her, Clarice spoke up, ruining the moment. Naruto opened his eyes and immediately blushed. He scratched the back of his head the way he always did when he was flustered. Sorry about that. He's not my boyfriend. Annabeth snapped as well with the same flushed face. Yeah, keep telling yourselves that, Clarice rolled her eyes. Tell us, Percy, Chiron spoke up in a serious tone, indicating that joking around was over now. Where have you been? We just fell into a hole over there, Percy answered, pointing towards the crevice under Zeus's fist. We were only gone for a few minutes. Sorry to say, Percy, but you were gone for over an hour, Kakashi said, stating the contrary. But, we've only been exploring that tunnel for a couple of minutes, Percy tried to reason, but everyone shook their heads. The other campers as well wanted to ask a bunch of questions, but even before they could start, Chiron spoke up. That will be enough theatrics for today. This is not the right time to talk about that. All of you to your cabins. Now. There was a bunch of protests, but they drifted off, albeit with a bunch of grumbling and whispers amongst themselves. Some were even bumping fists and exchanging bags of what Percy could only assume was coins. You found it, didn't you? Clarice asked the daughter of Athena. This is what Luke is after. Naruto nodded. Juniper told me he was milling around the area even before he deserted us. He must have known about it even then. You don't mean? Percy's eyes widened in realization. Yes, Annabeth confirmed. We just found an entrance to the labyrinth. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.